Without a doubt, we live in difficult times. And it's in times like this that we need inspiration. We need God to speak to us and reaffirm the purpose of life, humanity, the purpose of our very life. Why are we alive now, and why should we get out of bed today? And the Old Testament book of Ecclesiastes, written by King Solomon, the preacher, the son of David, gives us the meaning of life. Let's delve into it together. Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verses 7, 8, and 9 in the New American Standard says this: "All a man's labor is for his mouth, and yet the appetite is not satisfied. For what advantage does the wise man have over the fool? What advantage does the poor man have, knowing how to walk before the living? What the eyes see is better than what the soul desires. This too is futility and a striving after the wind." Ecclesiastes chapter 6, 7 through 9. Chapter 6 is dark. Continuing the theme of chapter 6, people's plight during life is, well, evil. The main point of Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verses 7 through 9 is that no amount of work and labor quenches the thirst for satisfaction. You cannot earn satisfaction. You cannot work for satisfaction. Contentment is not a reward for effort. Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 7, the text teaches that employment and work are for basic necessities, and yet the worker's appetite is not satisfied or filled. In Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 8, no advantage, none, exists for the wise, fool, or the poor. A person's station and abilities provide no tangible key for gratification and pleasure. Contentment and satisfaction are not influenced, they're just not influenced by social status, economic standing, or understanding for that matter. And in Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 9, the text says, quote, "What the eyes see is better than what the soul desires," end quote. Therefore, provision and status and perspective are futility and striving after wind. What does that line mean? Well, to quote George Barton's commentary, which I've referenced before, it means it is better to enjoy what one has rather than desire what one does not possess. It's better to find contentment in what you've got rather than in what you don't. Makes sense to me. Desire, wanting more versus contentment. That's really the contrast, huh? Contentment is superior to desire. In Hebrew in the Old Testament, contentment, satisfaction, peace, wholeness, all of that is one idea. Contentment, satisfaction, peace, and wholeness. One idea. And it is a gift from God in the context of an obedient, intimate relationship with God. David A. Hubbard interprets Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 9, saying this, quote, "Be content with what you have, your work, your food, your family. Do not count on what is beyond your reach. What you see with your eyes, you can deal with. What you crave with your soul, you may not attain." Page 155, end quote. We must stop grasping worldly desires like wealth and social status and other cultural idols. Stop grasping toward that stuff and instead be content. Be satisfied at peace. Be whole in God, for only our God can provide contentment, satisfaction, and peace. That's what Ecclesiastes chapter 6 is trying to teach us. This topic is incredibly important, and we need time to think about the purpose of our individual lives. Why do I exist? And how can I make the most of the time that God has given me? If you're interested in delving into Ecclesiastes deeper, then I wrote a book in 2018. It's 50 pages. It's $1.98 on Amazon. It's for a Kindle, an e-reader, and it's called Search for Significance, an examination of Ecclesiastes. And I will put the link to this book on Amazon in the description below as an additional resource for you if you wish.